Okay, now I've got a program in ThingSpeak up here that sends alerts to my Gmail account, this email account, which has already been designated in my ThingSpeak account. In other words, this Gmail account is actually used to log in to my ThingSpeak account. These are both free, and I'm using ThingSpeak to send sensor data, and the data is moisture level. This moisture sensor, I've got a damp paper towel. It shows a moisture level on the OLED screen. It's important to know that we need to turn off these LEDs right here, and I'll give you the code that shows how these are turned off, because they interfere with both the sensor value and the OLED and the motor if you're running the motor, especially the motor. I'll show you what happens when I go back to ThingSpeak and click on my send data. It's this code right here, and I'll put this code in the description of the video. Well, I won't be able to do that because there are characters in here that probably won't work. But when I click run and save, that will send the moisture value, this value, to my Gmail account. Okay, I've learned something here. What I'm trying to do is send moisture levels from this sensor plugged into this board that are displayed on this OLED. This moisture displayed on this OLED by way of ThingSpeak to my email address, email account, so I can see what this moisture level is. Like, for example, the soil in my garden, I can get a notification on email. This is going to my Gmail account. So I did get a notification that this is the moisture level. Here is the code that's in ThingSpeak. And when I click save and run, it runs the code and sends the email value, sends the value to my email. The problem I've run into is I asked ChatGPT how to do this, and then I realized that I'm getting error messages, and some of the error messages simply say that there is an error somewhere in this code. I found that I did not get the error messages if I left this number at 50, if I change that number to, let's say, 30, because I assumed that that was the value that I was reading. If I change that from 50 to 30, then I get an error. Now, it may be that the alert threshold does not pertain to the data, but pertains to something else in this code. I was also getting error messages that refer to lines that I don't have in the code. There's only 32 lines, but here it's referring to errors on 139 and 46. Well, like 139.46. Chat tells me that there's a complicated reason for that. And ultimately, that we can use this system, but it's not going to be usable frequently or repeatedly on a free account. Now, we just saw that I got an email with a value. I showed you right here. And I've gotten other emails, like it shows previously. So I'm now going to try it again and see if I can send this value 50. So I'm going to send this again. And see if it sends. Save and run. It says it ran successfully, and now it shows a value of 59 that came in on my Gmail account. So this works, but I would say it works intermittently, but at least we now have a way of retrieving data, values, posted in the cloud, retrieving that data by way of email. So do look for a link in the description of this video to my Google Drive account, where I will have the code that I'm showing right here, this code. And you will need to insert your own channel ID, and you'll need to insert your own alert API key, TAK, and then there'll be a number that follows that. If you look under my profile, you'll find those. There will be more.